You know, I've had a lot of people ask me, what happened to the banana? Who's hungry? Not anymore, huh? Remember, what did the banana represent, please? It represented what? That everyone and everything has a purpose, a reason for being. The banana is a metaphor. What is it? Metaphor. This banana wasn't used for its purpose. So let me ask you, what happens if you don't do what you're here to do? Well, all I can say for the banana answer would be, you rot. Remember the Gospel of Thomas. That which is within you and expressed will set you free, while that which is within you and not expressed will eat you from the inside. Yes or yes? Another way of putting something like that is this. What to say, please? Raise your hand if you have some talents. What to say? Raise your hand if you have some talents. What's that say? Raise your hand if you have something to give. What's it say? Sorry, I didn't make up the rules. I didn't make up the rules. I just recognize them and follow them. You don't use it. This is what you look like. Very simple. You understand? Rot. Smelly. It stinks. It's soft, it's mushy, and it smells. Is that a good enough metaphor for you? You understand that? Either you are using what you came here to do, either you're using your gifts, or you are not. And if you are not, you will lose them. And don't forget the original conversation where it says, that which does not contribute is eliminated. You have no choice. You do. Your choice is simple. Either use what you've been given and help people with it, or rot. Or rot. So don't let your mind take you out. Because your mind can take you out, and you know what it does. You end up rotting, yes? And it stinks as it's doing it, doesn't it? You know it as you're doing it. You know you're making the wrong decision. You cannot be taken out anymore. Songwriter Neil Young said this. He said, it's better to burn out than to rust. How many people would agree with that? Yes? Burn out than to rust. Now, I want to tell a quick little story. I was getting a massage a while ago. And I told the massage therapist that I was working some pretty long hours to prepare for a course. And this course was a couple of years ago. And he agreed, and then he said this. He said, you know, I was sitting on my deck this morning at 6:30, drinking my coffee, and I was thinking about this 12-hour day I've got ahead of me, and I was saying to myself, what the heck am I doing this for? And I was running this course, and so I lifted up my head and I said to him, very simply, I don't know, could it be to help people? Maybe to share your gifts? Maybe to add some value to people's lives? This guy's really talkative. That's why I don't go back there anymore. You know? But listen, he was silent. I hadn't heard him be silent for like ever. And he was silent. And it took him like 5 minutes. I just had my head down. He goes, I forgot. I forgot. I forgot why I do this. Isn't it true that in the busyness of everyday life that sometimes we... True. But when you remember, it makes all the difference. When you remember your why, it makes all the difference in the world. Yes or no? Because some people say to me, Harv, you're so fortunate. You know, you got 600 people, 1,000 people, 2,000 people, yada, yada, yada. I say, you know what? It's not my preference, but if there was one, I'd do it. So I get an invitation to do a gig in, it was in Los Angeles, I think it was. And they had promised 400 people, minimum. And I had never worked with them before. And I said, oh, okay, yeah, I'll do it. Because there's a person that I was going to do some other things with. I get there, I'm getting dressed, and I get a phone call. And the phone call is, there's like 40 people here. And I said, are you kidding me? Said, no, there's 40 people at best. And first of all, my ego mind goes, what the? You know, from 400 to 40, you're going to pay me $50,000. That's what I'm thinking in my head, what I'm going to say to the guy. And he's on the phone, he's quiet, and he says, look, I understand if you don't want to come downstairs. I get it. I'll let them know that you canceled or whatever, you couldn't make it. You know, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened. They registered, they didn't come. We kind of had a mix-up. I apologize. I understand 100%. Took a nice deep breath, and then I remembered. And I said, Harv, if you are on mission to educate and inspire people, live in their higher self, then it says people. It doesn't say 1,000 people. It doesn't say 1,000,000 people. It says people. And that means, Harv, if you can go down there, if you can touch one person's life, then this would have been a worthwhile trip. I went down there, and I had said to him when I was in my ego self, I said, okay, if I come down, I'm going to do a frickin' 45-minute thing, and I'm out of there. Okay, I'm going to go do something else. I'm going to go golf. You know, this is not what you promised. That was still my ego self. And I was supposed to do an hour and a half. I did 2.5 hours for those 40 people. Because I realized those 40 people, of the 400, only those 40 people showed up. So those people were the most committed people. And I gave them everything I had because of the mission. And again, I hope you know me well enough to say I would never tell a story about that to kind of say anything about me, but just as an example for you. Because there will be times when our ego self, you know, is just flying out of hand, isn't it? Yes? And that you will forget why you're here and what you're supposed to be doing. But all it takes is for you to remember, and that makes all the difference. Yes or yes? Give me my high five and say, that makes all the difference in the world. So, your entire life is a thread, and it basically revolves around your mission and your vision. And every major decision should be based in 2 criteria. Do you want to know what they are? Write them down. 2 criteria. Number 1, does this align with my mission? Does this align with my mission? And number 2, does this decision move me towards my vision? That's what you have to ask yourself. And if the answer is yes to either one of those, you got a pretty good situation. Does that make sense? Because in either case, you won't be wasting your time. And it's very easy to curtail things that aren't moving you towards your vision when you know what your vision is, which you do now for the most part. Yes? You're going to be so much more focused now and so much more energy towards it because you're going to know the things you do or we're doing that are just a waste of your time in comparison to what you're here to do. Does that make any sense? And how many people know already certain things in your life that don't fall into any of those categories? They don't serve your mission and they don't fall into your vision. Yes? Delete them. Hand them off. Delegate them. Get rid of them. They're not, I don't know what they are. I'm not going to say they're not worth your time, but just recognize it, okay? Recognize it, and you do what's appropriate. But you only have people say, we're limitless. I don't know, maybe you are. I have a limited amount of time. I'm sorry. Maybe it's not the perfect thing to say. Me? I have a limited amount of time every day. Maybe you're limitless. I guess I'm not. Every day, it seems like it gets shorter. People say, well, just expand time. I don't know. I guess I haven't been able to do that real well. Do you understand what I'm saying here? I have a limited resource. And I'm going to check very quickly as to whether this is moving me towards my mission and my vision very quickly before I say yes to anything. Got it? And you'll see people come up to me all the time. Can I have 5 minutes? Like, what do I say? No. I go, no. Well, I just say, sorry, I don't have it. Well, if I email you, if you email me, you can email me all you want. I'm not returning the email. I'd love to hear about it. Don't expect a reply. I have certain things I do with my time, and I choose them carefully. Does that make sense at all? Does that make me a bad person? No. It makes me a person that is on purpose. That's all. Got it? Yes or yes? Yes. So, raise your hand if you enjoyed the program. All right. Thank you. And I truly, truly bless you, and I wish you nothing but the best in your entire life. You do have a responsibility, however, now. Because you can't plead ignorance anymore, you see. You know, you have a light now, and your job is to shine it, and your job is to live it. And you have a duty, you have a dharma. And remember, I'm not going to put the guilt trip on you, but that which does not contribute is... So you want to live a long and healthy and fruitful life. You just make sure you keep your light lit, because that's what keeps you living, you see. Not just in a breathing sense, but in a living sense. Because you can live in two ways. You could be the walking dead too. You could be living in darkness. And from now on, I'm going to give you the absolute secret, as I said earlier, to surefire happiness, especially when you are not feeling great. Does that ever happen? Yeah. When you're not feeling great, there's only one reason that happens. And you can turn it around with the opposite. It's always, check it out, it's always, what's the word? Always. When you're not feeling good, you have your mind thinking about you. The fastest way to feel good is to put your mind on giving to other people. It is a ancient secret that's here for all of us. And we tend to forget it, especially when our mind's on us. But if you just want to feel good and you want to feel light and bright and have tons of energy, you just need to focus your attention on sharing your light, your special gifts with others and assisting them. Because that will take your mind off of you and you'll just feel fantastic. Does that make any sense at all? Yes. You try it and you let me know how it works. But I guarantee that is the big it from the standpoint of you just turn it around. When people always get people saying, you know, Harv, you know, I go through these depressions and things like that. And, you know, it's a big difference between, say, manic depressive and people who are really, you know, have hormonal issues and certain things, chemical imbalances, which, you know, I don't know what to do necessarily in that arena. But I do know from the standpoint of just, you know, I'm not feeling great and all that, get off yourself. Get off yourself and get on to helping somebody else. And you just watch that wither away. That whole energy will just leave you. When you are down and out, it's just the darkness. What do you have to do? Light your light up again. Shine it. Hold it up. That'll light it all up again. Yes or yes? Yes. Yes or yes? Yes. Very good. So, again, I want to thank you for coming. I'm going to leave you with the blessing of Namaste. Namaste. Namaste.